Welcome to Drovers TV. I'm John Hamilton.
And I'm Terry Apostle. Drovers TV is the latest offering from Drovers, America's beef business source.
As some of you may know, Drovers recently conducted surveys in hopes of getting a glimpse into producers' genetic selection priorities.
We'll have the results of those surveys later on in the cast, but here's what else is coming up.
We talk animal welfare issues with CSU's Temple Grandin.
Clint Berry from the Red Angus Association discusses genetic selection.
And we'll tell you all about the importance of weed control in pastures.
Colorado State University's Dr. Temple Grandin is internationally renowned for her work in animal handling and welfare. Speaking at CSU's recent Beef University, Dr. Grandin outlined how consumers are becoming increasingly interested in the ways livestock producers treat their animals. She says, for example, there is no way to sell the public on sow gestation stalls in pork production. Every survey shows that 2/3 of consumers disapprove of them. They also dislike the idea of tail docking in dairy calves. Dr. Grandin says we should take a close look at everything we do and ask ourselves how consumers would react if they watched it. If it makes them uncomfortable, there might be a need to change. These days, she adds, we need to think about how anything we do would look on someone's cell phone photo or video posted to the internet. Dr. Grandin suggests producers train themselves and their employees in proper handling practices and also provide a working environment that encourages consistent application of animal welfare principles. She says, for example, that feed yard managers often ask her how they can get their processing crews to handle cattle better. The first thing she asks them is how long they work those crews without extended breaks. Studies in the pork and poultry industries have shown that death loss increases when workers load animals for more than 6 hours. Processing crews working 10-hour shifts won't be using the best handling practices, she says. They are just too tired. We often hear you can't manage what you don't measure, and Dr. Grandin says measurement of undesirable behaviors is an important tool for improving handling practices. She suggests counting how many cattle bellow during processing, how many times crew members use hot shots, or how many are caught improperly in the headgate. If a high percentage of cattle bellow in the squeeze chute, you might need to adjust the hydraulic pressure. Watch cattle as they leave the processing chute, she says, and count how many walk or trot versus run and jump. With proper handling, most should exit the processing area quietly. Finally, Dr. Grandin stresses the need for beef producers to communicate the positive aspects of their business to dispel the misinformation spread by animal rights activists. She encourages farmers and ranchers to take videos showing their operations and how they treat their animals. Get your kids to show you how to post them online. You are losing the younger generation, she warns producers. They believe what they see on activists' websites. But she adds, young people are hungry for information, and we have an opportunity to show them a realistic and more positive image of beef production. You can find detailed information on animal handling and facilities on Dr. Grandin's website at www.grandin.com.
For this week's profit tip, we turn to Clint Berry, Commercial Marketing Director for the Red Angus Association of America, who discusses the genetic traits that really make a difference for cow-calf producers. Take a look.
In the industry today, we're looking at efficiency, and the best way to measure efficiency is maternal cow herd building traits. When we talk about maternal, we're talking a lot more than just milk. We're looking at things that really add the bottom line to producers' profit. Fertility, stability, the length of time that those cows can stay productive in your operation, lowering maintenance costs through mature size and moderation of frame, as well as cavities, such as cavities direct and maternal, both out of the bulls and out of the cows themselves you're keeping as replacement heifers. And that's today's profit tip.
Speaking of genetic selection, 2 recent Drovers surveys provide a glimpse of producer selection priorities.
Results show producers rank calving ease as the most important trait in their bull selection decisions, followed closely by disposition, growth, and maternal traits.
Availability of DNA marker information was the lowest rated trait, but producers are interested in it, with 70% of the respondents saying they will use the technology if the price is right.
As for breed selection, the largest percentage of respondents say they're most likely to purchase Angus bulls over the next 3 years, followed by Hereford and Red Angus. Simmental led the list of continental breeds.
Drovers conducted the surveys in cooperation with Certified Angus Beef and the American Hereford Association this spring.
You can read more about these results in the article Surveys Identify Priorities in the June issue of Drovers or at drovers.com.
feed prices and other production costs as high as they are, forage production is a critical component of profitability in ranching. In today's Ranch Management segment, Rick Borgioni from Dow AgroSciences stresses the importance of grass in efficient beef production.
Forage production is very key, and turning a good grass pasture into what it is maximum potential is for returning, that number one resource is grass, and if we can produce more grass, then that's going to immediately fall to your bottom line. You're going to be able to then manage not only your stocking capacities, but also the efficiency of like a rotational grazing program to maximize that resource, to allow recovery and get an extended grazing season from what we hope to be some very good environmental conditions this year.
Rick says even when growing conditions are good, it's not a time to fall behind in weed control.
We're looking at good conditions for forage growth, in which you want to try and leverage as much forage production as you can. Reducing that weed competition will again almost double, if not triple, your forage production.
Today we are visiting with Carl Bollum, a sales engineer with BCF Technologies in this animal health segment. BCF markets specialized ultrasound equipment for pregnancy testing in cattle. Carl says that besides detecting pregnancy early, the ultrasound offers additional benefits.
With ultrasound, it's been proven that you're going to have about a 7-day advantage in early pregnancy detection. Also, you're going to find that with the ultrasound, you're going to be much more accurate with your ovarian diagnosis. So you can diagnose the CLs, you can pick up the cysts like that, and you're going to be a lot more accurate versus, because you're going to be seeing it instead of feeling it and trying to guess. You're going to actually see it. The other thing with the ultrasound, you can do fetal sexing, and with manual palpation or any other type of pregnancy detection, you can't do fetal sexing. So you have to have ultrasound with that. And then the other thing with the open cows, with ultrasound, when we can look at their ovaries, we can diagnose what are we going to do with them now, because we want to get them back in the breeding pool, get them bred.
Thanks for that, Carl. That brings us to the end of another Drovers TV webcast. You can share this webcast with your friends and colleagues by clicking the share options beside this player.
We'll be back in 2 weeks with our next webcast, and for more news in the meantime, head over to drovers.com.
We'll see you next time.